Coming up on the Weekly Scoop.
I've got a great intro. You don't need Sky News, you don't need CNN, you don't need any of them entertainment channels, because you have
The Weekly Scoop.
It's good, that one, isn't it?
Coming up this week, we're talking about a new Toblerone style bar from Poundland. Beyonce has given birth to twins, and Atari are bringing out a brand new console.
The headline's the Toblerone, though, isn't it?
Remember in last week's Weekly Scoop, Greg, we brought you the news that Hyperkin had released an Atari clone that could play most of the Atari cartridges.
Is this the floppy thing?
No, that was the Xbox.
Right.
However, in the news this week, Atari have announced that they are actually developing a brand new console that will compete with the likes of the Xbox and the PS4.
Really?
It's going to be based on PC technology, apparently. And the CEO of Atari, Fred Chesney, told GameBeat, "We're back in the hardware business." They have a website which you can visit, AtariBox.com. That's what they're referring to the console as, the Atari Box. Visit the website for updates and news on the console.
Personally, I was never an Atari boy.
Weren't you?
Oh, have I ruined everything?
Well, Atari has had difficult times in the past. Obviously, we've talked about in our other shows the ET debacle. But more recently than that, the company filed for bankruptcy protection in 2013. And now they're bringing out a brand new console. So this is the bit we don't really like doing, isn't it, Greg? But it is entertainment news, so we are bringing it to you on the Weekly Scoop. Unfortunately, this last week has seen the death of two parts of our childhood, really. The director of Rocky and the Karate Kids 1, 2 and 3, John G. Avildsen, died this week, aged 81, after battling with pancreatic cancer. His name may not be as well known as the Spielbergs and Donners of this world, but he did make some films that really formed our childhood, including Rocky and the Karate Kid movies. So John, thank you for those movies and the childhood memories. Another big part of our childhood has died this week, Greg.
I think it's just us in the UK, really, for this one, isn't it?
Yeah, you may not have heard of him outside of the UK. A man called Brian Cant has died this week, aged 83. He had been having a long battle with Parkinson's disease, but for many of us here in the UK, he was the voice of our childhood. Started his career on Play School, then went on to Play Away and things like Bric-a-Brac. He was also on TV. But it wasn't just his appearance, it was his voice that many of us recognise, because he was the voice of Trumpton and Camberwick Green and all those kind of programmes. Pew Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble Grub. Remember that? Sadly, Brian Cant passed away this week also. Speaking of epic directors, one of Spielberg's films was released this week in history, wasn't it, Greg?
So is this the news then now?
Yes.
Then now news.
The news then that we're reporting now.
Well, this week in
75.
75, just my earpiece, was it 75? 75 was the release of Jaws.
Unbelievably, 42 years ago, Jaws was released in cinemas.
I was -5.
I actually wasn't even born either.
Wow, it must be old then.
I was on the way.
Had you been thought of?
Thought of, probably, yes.
And then the accident happened.
Jaws obviously tells the story of the great white shark terrorising a beach in California.
Yes. And may I just say, I was one of the fortunate ones over in the UK that went to the Florida ride and did it before it closed down.
It has now closed, hasn't it?
Gone.
The ride in Florida. But Jaws did entertain millions of people. Scared me a little bit when I was a child, Greg.
You've not been to Florida?
Especially when the... No, I haven't.
I have.
Of course you have, Greg.
5 times.
Especially when the head popped out of the ship. That was the scary bit, wasn't it? How many?
I think 6, actually.
Ah, this is the news you've been waiting for, isn't it, Greg? Beyonce has given birth to twins. A source close to the couple said Bay and Jay, I think Bay is short for Beyonce.
Bay and Jay?
Bay and Jay.
Sound like two brummies. To Bay and Jay.
Are thrilled and have started sharing the news with their family. They already have a 5-year-old daughter named Blue Ivy. I wonder what they're going to call these two.
You just said Bay and A, didn't you?
No, Bay and J is the name of Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Oh, right, I'm not with it.
Who have had the twins.
You're so down with the kids.
She announced she was pregnant on Instagram in February, and that image of her with a baby bump was shared lots, wasn't it, Greg? Do you remember seeing that around?
Yeah.
Some people said it was fake, but obviously it wasn't, because she has now given birth to twins.
So speaking of twins, it's come to our final topic of the day here on the Weekly Scoop.
As indeed. I see what you did there, Greg.
This is a headline and a half, isn't it?
Twins, because Poundland have released their own version of the Toblerone called Twin Peaks.
Now, if you don't know what Poundland is a shop over here that everything inside it is a pound.
It's kind of fairly self-explanatory, that, isn't it, Greg?
So they've stolen an idea, made it their own, and I do not know how they're getting away with this.
Well, you may remember that a few months ago people were horrified when Toblerone removed some of the peaks from Toblerone. So instead of being small spaces between the peaks, there's now large spaces between the peaks to save money on production. Well, Poundland have tried to capitalise on this, and they've launched their own branded chocolate bar, and they've called it Twin Peaks. As you can see, they've done their best to avoid any similarities between Twin Peaks and the Toblerone chocolate bar.
I think, Jason, whoever's done this in that meeting around the table is a genius, and they deserve their bonus this year.
Have a guess how much the chocolate bar is going to be.
Well, how much is a Toblerone, roughly?
No, Greg, it's sold in Poundland. Have a guess how much it's going to be.
So how much is a Toblerone, roughly?
I don't know.
Well, what are you asking me how much Twin Peaks is for, then, in Poundland?
Because
you think I'm stupid?
Because it's in Poundland. So how much do you think the chocolate bar is going to cost from Poundland?
Well, it's twins, isn't it? So it's probably £2.
Then it'd be £2 It's £1, Greg. It costs £1 from Poundland. Standard 150 gram Toblerone bars are currently priced from £1 to £1.50.
That's thrilling, isn't it?
Pleased to know. But Poundland's bar will be £1. Barry Williams, who is the trading director of Poundland,
Well done, Bazza.
he says Poundland shoppers are savvy, and the change in their favourite chocolate bar last Christmas didn't go unnoticed. That's why we've created a new £1 alternative for them, the size they wanted, with a British taste, and with all the spaces in the right places. I mean, that is genius, Barry.
See, what you don't realise is we've gone through hours of news and we found this. This is our headline news.
All the spaces in the right places. That's what we want.
Out the way. Twin Peaks.
That's it for another entertainment and technology news roundup, Greg. I've thrown in the technology news now because we do a lot of that, don't we?
Well, that's my script out the window then, Jason.
Games consoles and things. So we hope you've enjoyed the Weekly Scoop. It'll be back next week on Friday with all the entertainment and technology news from around the interweb.
And what's on tomorrow then?
That's tea and toast.
Are we doing that now, are we?
Yeah.